Ridiculous questions.
Meticulously debated.
This is Tell Me I'm Wrong.
Well, I was happy just last night. I've been losing sight. Citing all the falling fights. What is this if this ain't right? Back again, the monster rights. Losing life until that night. Life never let him lie. Light as my far past his way.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tell Me I'm Wrong. This is Joseph, and I will be taking you along on a journey as your moderator this week.
I'm Joshua, since we're doing proper names, and I'll be a debater.
I don't have a long version of my name, but I'm Ryan, and I'll be debating this week as well.
Yes, thank you for that, Ryan. That was tremendous.
Joe, say it right.
Ryan.
Thank you.
If you guys refer to me as anything other than Ryan for this episode, then I will not answer.
Okay, so I am happy to say, boys, that I am recording on my brand new, to me, computer I just got from Device Pit Stop.
Thank the good Lord, because it used to take Joe, and this is not an exaggeration, listeners. Sometimes I exaggerate. This is not an exaggeration. It used to take Joe 45 Gregorian minutes for Joe to be able to get onto a Zoom call.
He's not lying. There'd be times where I couldn't open the three apps we need. Those three apps being Google Chrome, Zoom, and Audacity we record on. It would never open all three at the same time, and it usually was Zoom that was the problem.
Well, thankfully, with that sponsorship from Device Pit Stop, we are able to finally have functioning equipment. So thank you to them, because you have saved so much time out of my evenings.
We will talk a little bit more about that later, but it was a great experience to go and buy from them. So we'll get some more on that later.
I will say, before we go off of the Device Pit Stop thing, they are currently the investor in our show. So shout out to Device Pit Stop.
So we mentioned this a few weeks ago. You guys were over at my house the other day, and we were watching. Josh got us on watching golf cart attack videos.
Truly works of art.
Where people literally run over their friends with golf carts. So I, like anyone does with YouTube, and I had time, I got on a tangent and started watching this. And what I found was when mascots attack.
Oh, really?
Also a great YouTube find.
What is this?
You've never seen a mascot fight?
No, they just cheer.
No.
So when I was in college, I knew Big E, the mascot for Eastern Kentucky University Colonels.
Big E.
And he, at one point, got in a fight with the Western Kentucky mascot, which is coincidentally the worst mascot of all time. To me, it is effectively a pimple. It is a giant red blob.
And is okay, for those not regional, it is literally, so they're called the Hilltoppers, which like everyone's thinking, oh, what does that mean? You're exactly right. What does that mean?
You need to stop what you're doing and Google Big Red. It's the Western mascot. It is the worst thing. It's a giant red fat blob.
That is that is just what it is. That is not editorialization. It is a blob of red.
And it's awful. It deserves to be beat up. So I was warned. I was warned there could be a fight, and there was, and it deserved to get beat up because it's the worst thing in human history.
Here locally in Kentucky, we have a lot of weird mascots, to be fair.
It's true.
We do.
But between that and then we've got a minor league, well, I don't even think they're a minor league baseball team, but the Florence Yalls.
They're the lowest level of paid baseball.
We have the Florence Yalls. So in Florence, Kentucky, there's a large water tower that used to say Florence Mall, but then the city was mad because I was advertising the mall that was there. So they painted on it and changed it to Florence Yall. And it's kind of a iconic element in Kentucky. So they named the team after that. And so their mascot is literally a large water tower that looks just like the one in town. Then you've got the Louisville Cardinals, who we are all Wildcats fans. So that's our biggest rival. Go Cats. L's
Louisville
down.
doesn't exist.
L's down.
And their Cardinal very fierce looking, but it has teeth, and that makes absolutely
it
zero
has
sense.
teeth. And like there are some great bird mascots. I will go ahead and shout out this episode the NFL mascot, the Falcons. That is a great mascot. We got the Seahawks, also a good bird mascot.
Which team has the live eagle fly into the stadium before the game?
The Seahawk.
Oh, that's
as well as Auburn War Eagle.
Yes,
which
that's
doesn't
what
make
I'm
any
thinking
sense to me because they're the Auburn Tigers. It's still really cool. The War Eagle doesn't make sense to me. I'm sure there's a story.
That's fair. I've never thought about that.
I never looked it up, but it's always confused me.
Well, anyways, we have just a bevy of mascots that are weird, and there's some that are great. Like at Kentucky, we have a new logo. And I love the new logo. I buy a bunch of clothes with the new logo on it because I think it's great. But let's be honest, if you turn your head to the side or spin the logo, it looks like two birds having sex with each other. But so there's a lot of mascots out there that are just, they're questionable. I asked the guys to find me the mascot that's sexy. Yes, find me a mascot. We narrowed it down because there's a lot out there. Find me an NFL mascot that brought sexy back.
We decided because the NFL is coming back, I am super excited because I really love some NFL football. We decided that we wanted to have an NFL topic, and we couldn't do anything normal, obviously, because we're this crazy show.
Why would we ever do that?
All your fantasy teams can eat shit and die, and you can come talk about sexy ass mascots.
They got sexy asses.
Some of them do. Now, here's the thing. We talked about all the terrible mascots we have here in Kentucky. However, we at least at one point in time, had some maybe the sexiest mascot if we're just being objective.
We have a couple good mascots here in the city, to be honest.
That's true, actually.
So we have a minor league baseball team in Lexington called the Lexington Legends who have a mascot named Big L.
Big L is sexy.
And he has a majestic mustache. Majestic.
He's got that mustache. Oh man, that's kind of like their iconography is everybody gets mustaches. You know, that's
styling and profile.
Style, yeah.
Now, that is not the sexiest mascot that Lexington has ever had.
No way.
That belongs to, look, if we're talking about what makes a mascot sexy, we get it. This is a weird topic. You might want to tune out. I get it.
That's what we do.
It's weird, but this is what we do.
There's people here for this.
There are people here for this.
If you want to tune out for this, then you probably don't like our show.
Yeah, you probably hate the show if you can't get on board with this topic. So when it comes to a sexy mascot, I think we're talking probably some muscles, good personality, great backstory.
How good's the mascot? The mustache.
How good's the mustache? When it comes to muscles on a mascot and just looking fresh as hell, nothing beats Lucky, the mascot for the shortly lived but much beloved minor league hockey team in Lexington, Kentucky, the Kentucky Thoroughblades.
Listen, there's not a winter that goes by that I don't drive by Rupp Arena and think, man, if only the Thoroughblades could come back. Not the Men of War, because they were awful.
They were bad.
But if the Kentucky Thoroughblades can come back.
I need to send out a call for action. If anyone has a Thoroughblades sweatshirt, please contact me at Rye Store on Twitter. I will pay you for that sweatshirt.
They had it was like the same color combination of the cups you used to get at gas stations.
Oh yeah,
like that green, blue.
Oh man, the gray and the purple and the green. I mean, it was just if you are not from the area of Lexington around 1999,
yes,
you may not know what we're talking about. Please Google the Lexington Thoroughblades because you will get some great enjoyment out of it.
We'll put some great stuff on our social just to show you how awesome.
Oh yeah, we'll put this on the socials for sure.
We talked about Titanic last week, and particularly the "Draw Me Like a French Lady" scene. And Lucky, the Thoroughblades mascot, was still the sexiest thing that happened in 1997.
There are subreddits about getting Thoroughblade jerseys, and there's one for sale on eBay.
Oh, how much? How much are we talking,
snap.
Joe?
Rare vintage 1990s Kentucky Thoroughblades all AHL sweatshirt at $75.
Oh,
A jersey.
that's not that bad.
A double XL jersey is $150.
Get in
There's
my
a
closet.
Thoroughblades jersey for $129.
Oh, man.
I may buy one of these. My current wife may divorce me if I buy it. But she may divorce me.
My current wife might divorce me.
Yo, back to I got a wife. She's my current one, but she may not be anymore if she divorces me.
It's been a while since we brought the Brooklyn
accents
back.
have disappeared, but I think this was the proper time.
So, yeah, get on that Thoroughblade gear. Get on that Thoroughblade imagery. And, and let's be honest, he was the original Mohawk wearer.
Oh, yeah.
It's much more accepted in pop culture nowadays.
Just because
he was the trendsetter.
He had muscles. He had a mohawk. He shot smoke out of his nose. He had red eyes.
Can I, while we're on the Thoroughblades rant, can I tell you my favorite part as a child about a Thoroughblades experience?
Yes, please.
It's very much the 8-year-old in me. Do you remember the blimp that they would fly around and drop coupons from?
Yeah, you'd get like $1 off at Dunkin' Donuts.
Inside Rep Arena. Oh, I think it was like for oil change or something like that. Like it was not a cool coupon, but I waited the whole match just so I could see the blimp that they would fly around Rep Arena. It was my favorite part.
So fun fact about an experience with me and a Thoroughblades. I remember going to a Thoroughblades game. I believe my grandfather who got us tickets to Thoroughblade games, same guy who got us tickets to the wrestling event. But that night they gave away hockey mask, like goalie mask, and this guy in front of me got his free mask, but he put the mask on the back of his head. So the entire time I sat there looking forward, and Jason Voorhees was staring at me. I was also like 8 or 9 or 10. I got scared and asked my dad to leave. And finally my dad was like, "Guy, you got to take that off. It's scaring my son." And the guy looked at me like, "What a wuss." He was right.
My favorite Thoroughblades memory was 2 years in a row I won a prize at the puck toss. They would do it every year where they would put a little bucket at center ice and you'd buy these foam pucks for like $3 and then you would throw them and try to get closest to the bucket. 2 years in a row I won, including one year where I threw it and it rolled and leaned against the bucket. It was truly probably the most athletic thing I've ever done in my life, and I still think about it to this day. Won an autographed hockey stick. I've still got it somewhere around my house.
I had those little hockey sticks.
Nah, this was a full-size hockey stick, Joe. Signed by Lucky and all of the Thoroughblades. Oh, truly a cool piece of memorabilia.
Well, I'm glad you stuck around for us to talk about a regional hockey team from the late 90s, early 2000s. But let's get back to the debate at hand. I need to know about some sexy. They're not going to be as good as Lucky the Thoroughblade mascot, but some sexy NFL mascots. So I want you all to lay out what makes the mascot sexy, and then I got an idea for how we're going to close this out.
Okay.
But right now, I need to know who you chose, why you chose them, and what makes them sexy.
I think Josh and I actually had a very similar experience when trying to pick the sexiest mascot, because
there were too many.
It was not easy. Because there are so many different routes that you can go mentally when you're thinking about what makes a sexy mascot. I just dropped my pencil.
Did you both choose the tiger from the Cincinnati Bengals in honor of one Joe Exotic?
We did not.
Okay, if we're going to go on this tangent, we're going to go. I really don't like the Bengals. They have been unlikable for decades.
Well,
and
to be fair,
a myriad of reasons.
To be fair, nobody in Cincinnati truly likes the Bengals. They just
That's true.
choose them for suffering.
But they drafted Joe Burrow with his curtains from 1986 and got rid of Vontaze Burfict. So we should be likable now, right?
Are you a Bengals fan?
I mean, I guess. I don't really know who I'm a fan of in NFL. I don't really have a team.
I don't either.
I know this. I know who you're a fan of. Yeah, I was going to say, I know you were a Green Bay fan. You jumped on the bandwagon like everyone else in the world.
Okay, listen. I will defend myself on this because it does seem like I was a bandwagon fan. But I actually had a personal connection to the reason that I became a fan. Because Tim Mastay, shout out, it was the punter at UK. And his wife is my sister's best friend. So I was like at their wedding, know Tim Mastay very well. And he was signed by them the year that they ended up winning the Super Bowl. But that was the year I became a fan because he was a Packer. And so I became a fan because I had a friend on the team and I got to know the team.
That's fair. I'll be honest with you. Growing up, I had a Brett Favre poster in my room when my parents bought a new house in 1997.
Absolutely.
And I think that's because that's the only NFL player at the time I could name. And all my friends like Brett Favre, so I like Brett Favre too.
That's valid.
I say growing up, I was like a little bit of a Broncos fan because my dad kind of liked him and John Elway was cool.
Then, every dad liked John Elway. My dad liked John Elway too. They do it the right way.
He's a dad pick.
They win the right way. What does that even mean?
Then in the late 90s, I kind of shifted to the Falcons because the Dirty Birds were cool.
Absolutely.
And then they got Michael Vick, and then they were even cooler. And then he did his thing, and they were less cool. But then they got Matt Ryan, and I liked him. And I rode with them for a long time, and then I kind of fell off.
And then they lose in the playoffs every year.
You know, that happened.
That's part of the Falcon experience.
I spent a brief period of time as
the Bengals don't even get to the playoffs.
This is true. I spent a brief period of time as a Packers fan because of relationships, and then the incident happened, and now I don't care about the Packers, and so now I'm actually a free agent for an NFL team.
So you have how many NFL teams have you been a fan of?
Like 3. I don't really care that much, but I'm a free agent. So if anybody wants to persuade me to join their team,
I would also call me a free agent fan. I do think I've gravitated more towards the Tennessee Titans recently just because they're fun to watch, and it's like, okay, I don't want to like the Bengals and they're the next closest team, and I just cannot get behind the Indianapolis Colts. I've tried. They're so boring,
and their mascot's not sexy at all.
No, he's not. I will admit to you, although I was a Patriots fan for a long time, solely for the fact that, and it's just going to get worse, I really like Tom Brady. Well, I'll tell you why I like Tom Brady.
Okay.
And everybody hates him because he's attractive and he wins. But to me, he seems like a very consummate teammate. Like when they lose,
he also screams at people on the sidelines.
Well, I mean, Kobe screams at people, and Michael Jordan screamed at his teammates and punched him in the face, and he is revered as the greatest.
Yeah, but Michael Jordan provided me a 10-episode documentary that really got me through this quarantine. So you know what?
Twice now.
Yeah, 10 hours total. 10 hours of the 1,000 we've been in quarantine. Way more than
what I was trying to say.
Way more than 1,000.
Before I was interrupted. When they lose, it's his fault, and when they win, it's always because of like how good his team did. No matter how he did. Well, and I always appreciate. I don't know. I mean, I know that you're saying that, but it's like whenever he lost, he's always, I could have been better. My team did good, but I didn't make the plays. He just always kind of, and I like that he was the last pick and got like, I don't know. I just always thought he had kind of a good story.
Please stop trying to convince me that I should cheer for Tom Brady, the underdog.
I never said you should cheer for the Tom Brady. I don't know that I would cheer for him now that he's off New England. I think I just like that they were good and they kind of stuck it to him.
It sounds like you made fun of Ryan for being a bandwagon fan and then you yourself were a bandwagon fan, but that's beyond the point. Ryan, I can't do anything more.
So speaking of Tom Brady, one of my early front runners was actually the Buccaneers, because what is sexier than a half clothed pirate?
That is true, but his name is also Captain Fear.
Yeah, when I looked at that, I got to the name and I was like, And then I actually looked at like what the mascot looked like, and I was like, okay, maybe not. So I backed away.
Yeah, there's lots of picks that we didn't end up with. And just looking through the list, and feel free while you're doing this to look these up because it makes it all the better. I mean, we talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, reigning Super Bowl champions. They have a character named Casey Wolf who is a cross-eyed wolf.
Not sexy.
Not sexy.
That was the first one I looked up, and it was like, well, that's an easy write-off.
You've got Billy Buffalo in the Buffalo Bills.
Nope.
Not sexy. Now, if you like a lot to hold,
but he could take a bump. He can take a bump through a table. That's true. That.
He can take a bump through a table. He seems like a rather rotund boy. So if you like to cuddle up with somebody, not the worst thing in the world, but would not call him traditionally sexy.
I don't know if you guys are maybe a nerd like me, but if you watch the X-Men movies, he looks like if Beast let himself go and like stopped working out and just ate a bunch of ice cream. This is Beast after he retires and just lets it go and doesn't try hard anymore.
That's actually
tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
Oh, he said it.
Have
You
we
said
ever?
it.
Have we ever
I don't
said
think we've
it?
ever said it.
Did I just work that in organically and didn't
Look
even
at
mean
you.
to?
You're an old pro at this.
So we've been all over the place about people you didn't choose, which my question wasn't which NFL sexy mascot did you not choose. I need to know which NFL sexy mascot you chose as the sexiest mascot of all. If he's going to be on People magazine of the sexiest mascot alive,
Or she.
Is there a female NFL mascot?
We'll get to it.
Okay.
Don't worry.
What sexiest mascot alive? That's non-gender. It's gender neutral. People's
Yeah,
magazine
anybody's sexy.
sexiest mascot alive. Who are you choosing? Convince me. I'm People.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and go first because I'm pretty confident in my pick and I'm excited to talk to you about why.
Okay.
So there was one pick when I started to look at the details, and actually Leah was very involved in the research.
I'm sorry. Who's
week.
Leah?
Is that?
Leah is my
The
wife.
one you didn't allow on the show.
Who will be on the show?
Yeah, that person.
I'm sure that joke will get funny eventually.
It's already funny.
I think it's pretty
And
hilarious.
actually, while we're on the topic, I think it's important that we make sure that we get Lee on the podcast. I need everybody to tweet at Rye Store the hashtag free Leah. Hashtag free Leah. Free Leah. Free Leah. Tweet that at Rye Store, RYSTOR on Twitter, and make sure that he knows that he needs to let Leah come on the pod.
And make sure you tag TMIW Pod.
Yes,
Let's see
please
if we can
tag
get this
TMIW.
trending.
I'm sure that last 40 seconds will also be the clip that we use
Almost
for this
certainly.
episode.
With
So
no context whatsoever. Just please add free
free
Leah.
Leah.
People will be like, what the hell?
it's also great because she's not on Twitter right now. So
Maybe it'll get her on Twitter because everybody will want her, unlike her husband who did not want her on the
That's true.
podcast.
That's right. Just kick me off, replace me. Anyway, she was very involved. She is an avid researcher and loves to find out all the details. And so she helped me find this answer. So the correct answer to what is the sexiest mascot in the NFL is the Denver Bronco. And that is not actually the mascot's name, but I wanted to start with Bronco because there are a couple different facets that I'm going to get into in today's debate. I'm going to start with what they call Thunder, and that is the actual gray horse who comes out. There's actually been multiple versions of Thunder. All owned by Sharon Magnus Blake.
So this is like the Bengal Tiger of LSU. We're on number 8.
Correct. This is Thunder. I think we're on Thunder 4 if my research is correct. So all owned by the same woman, all the same purebred Arabian gelding. And it is a beautiful horse. Another fun fact. They have all been ridden by Ann Judge for the last 20 years. So this is part of my argument here. You have a female cowboy or cowgirl riding on a beautiful gray horse every game. And Thunder is not only involved in pre-game ceremonies, delivers the game ball, but will also ride from end zone to end zone after every touchdown for the Denver Broncos. So that is the beginning of my argument. The Thunder and Ann Judge make up the mascot experience of the Denver Broncos.
I'm currently looking up Thunder and Ann Judge, and they are both very attractive individuals.
I didn't know if I was going to get into this early or if it was going to come up later, but I'm going to get into it now before Josh goes. Earlier, we were talking about what makes a mascot sexy, and Josh's prime example was the Thoroughblade. Do you know what the Thoroughblade is? He's a horse.
Yeah, but he's very specific.
But is there anything sexier than those muscle rippling, thunder pounding horses?
You're making me uncomfortable.
When you can see, listen, I'm from Kentucky. I really like horses.
You're digging your own grave right now, buddy.
Horses are sexy is what I'm saying.
Muscle rippling, thunder powering.
That's right.
Ryan pulls a Rick Pitino every year during the Kentucky Derby.
It only lasts 15 seconds, though.
Most exciting 2 minutes in sports, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay, well, I chose to not sexualize the state animal of our beloved Commonwealth, and instead went with a mascot that's maybe a little bit more traditional on the sexiness scale. And I was looking at all my options, and there are a couple that I came down to. One was Steely McBeam, the Pittsburgh Steelers mascot. Hardworking man.
I don't really get that pick. I think you might need to defend that he even made the final.
I got to be honest. I've checked him out before this. He's a good looking man.
Now, he's not a traditional sexy. He's more of a blue collar sexy.
He carries a beam around.
Must be strong. I just felt like he was a good option, but I moved on from that.
Okay.
Then I went the complete opposite direction. I started thinking like, if I was like, had a friend who's like, hey, set me up with one of your mascot friends. And I was like looking around, I'd be like, maybe she's into the Steely McBeam, or maybe she's into something a little more complicated, a little more dark, a little more deep. And so I looked at Poe, the Baltimore Ravens mascot, who is a raven, obviously named after Edgar Allan Poe's poem, because he was a Baltimore resident. And he seems, pretty dark, brooding. At one point, he had two comrades named Edgar and Allan, but they disappeared around 1998, never to be seen again, and it left only Poe. So I figured, that might be a good option, but maybe he's got too many skeletons in his closet.
Literally.
So
Cask
then
of Amontillado.
I decided, you know what? I'm going to steer directly down the middle and try to find someone who I felt like had that hardworking sexiness, but maybe a little bit of depth to him, little interesting backstory. And so that's why I went with Sourdough Sam, the 49ers mascot.
I have to say, it's a terrible name.
It's a terrible name. Don't get me wrong. But, people have terrible names and are still, sexy. It shouldn't.
How about Thunder?
Okay, well, Thunder's a great name.
Pretty badass name.
But I ended up choosing Sourdough Sam for a few reasons. Mainly, you could best describe him as a daddy in his current iteration. He's got red hair, a thick beard, good shape, wearing his little 49er Gold Rush outfit.
Before you get too far, that was my next question. In looking at Google images of Sourdough Sam, it does look like there are two iterations of Sourdough Sam. There is a beardless and a bearded Sourdough Sam. And I think this could be a pivotal decision for you because the beard is majestic, but I'm looking at this first picture that actually is on Wikipedia of all places, and he has a very distinguished chin. I mean,
He does.
Yes.
And that's
You're gonna have to choose a route
that's sexy
here.
to a lot of people. I mean, that chin commands power.
So I actually thought about this before you even brought it up. And I started looking at it and I thought, okay, we got clean shaven, baby face dimples Sourdough Sam, and we've got bearded Sourdough Sam, which is the newest iteration.
There's also I also am looking at Google Images. There's also a mega bearded version.
He was instantly out.
Oh, good God.
He's a little more Ghost of Christmas Past.
Yeah, I was looking at the two most recent versions of Sourdough Sam. And I thought the dimple guy, certainly very handsome. He's got a 5 o'clock shadow somehow and good looking guy. But couple issues. One, I don't trust him. Something about that face I don't trust. He looks like the guy that's going to take you on a couple dates and then ghost you. Just not a good person to be around. Or worse, he looks like a guy that might be, running a crime syndicate behind your back or have a second family. He just doesn't look very trustworthy. Compare that to current Sourdough Sam, who looks like he would love your family. You'd have two beautiful children, the white picket fence that he built off the back of his hard work of mining that gold. And I just think that he looks like a trustworthy fella who's going to take good care of you. He takes good care of himself with that trimmed beard.
I have to say the mascot head has a very charming smile.
Very charming, very friendly. It just seems like the kind of nice guy, not traditionally sexy. I'm not looking for, Mr. I'm not looking for the rugged handsomeness. I'm looking for a man that you could settle down with and you're going to look at him every day and be like, you know what? I trust him and I know that he loves my family. And so that is why I went with the newest version of Sourdough Sam.
There is one picture where I found in Google image search where he has his hat off and he looks like the doll from Child's Play, like the Chucky doll.
Okay, well,
I will say the hat is very important.
Like a lot of men in his 30s and 40s, a hat plays a very important role in maintaining your overall look.
Actually, you know what? I might be turning on this because I also see another picture with the hat off and he's turned around and it looks like there's a little bit of a mullet.
That's okay. And I've seen some other pictures here where he's in a different uniform. He's in like a nice sport coat and he looks good.
Well, sexiness is not all about looks. So I'll let Ryan continue his little horse fantasy over there. And when you want to get back to me, I will spit some facts about the person that Sourdough Sam is and prove that he is the sexiest NFL mascot.
I'd just like to go over the sentence you just said. I'm going to let Ryan continue his little horse fantasy over there.
Am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong.
But it's not. It's a little unsettling to hear.
Well, I don't disagree.
Okay, so I really only have a couple other points because I think Thunder and Judge really speak for themselves. But I want to make sure that I bring up one fact that I think is just kind of quaint and adds to the sexiness of just the whole mascot experience. And that is the fact that the Denver Broncos stadium is Mile High Stadium. And who hasn't wanted to join the Mile High Club? And so part of that is their actual the person who is in a suit of the mascot is called Miles. So the person who has the giant white Bronco head on, they go by Miles, and I just thought that was really funny because it's Mile High Stadium and they go by their Bronco goes by Miles. So that's really my only other point that I wanted to bring up was because, you know, what's sexier than the Mile High Club?
So you don't have an actual point about the sexy mascot you chose.
It's a mascot experience that I'm trying to present.
So you want to join the Mile High Club with a large horse that woman is riding?
I did not say that. I just said it adds to the mystique and the sexiness.
Well, first off, an important point to make here is that the logistics of either a real horse or the Denver Broncos horse joining the Mile High Club on an actual plane in a bathroom in which I can't fit as a human man is truly impressive.
Here's a question. Can you join the Mile High Club at Mile High Stadium?
That's true. Would that technically be a different Mile High Club?
This is an entirely different debate that I'm actually open to exploring.
That we might have to couch that. I don't know if we need to say much more because that might be a real.
I wonder if anybody ever claimed to be part of the Mile High Club and then you ask them and they're like, I've never been on a plane.
Let's put it this way. It'd be a lot easier to join that Mile High Club than the real Mile High Club.
Because there's a lot of people at that stadium.
There's bathrooms.
Well, the good thing about a stadium bathroom is people are generally trying their best to get in and get out quickly so they don't miss the game. So they're not even sticking around to see what's going on.
And they're drunk.
So
exactly.
I think you could much more easily do that than trying to sneak onto an airplane.
That's fair. Okay. Counselor, I sustained. Josh, do you have anything you'd like to add to your debate here about a sexy redhead?
Yeah. So Ryan's gone the route of, pure sex appeal, sexiness with the Mile High Club. It's all built on visuals. But my case for Sourdough Sam is built a lot more on the person that he is and not just his looks. So your little Miles horse wants to join the Mile High Club. Well, Sourdough Sam loves to bake. He loves a delicious.
I thought you were going to say loves to beg.
Well, he might do that too, if we're being honest. But he loves to bake. He loves a good loaf of sourdough bread. They say that he loves to take it and make a sandwich with it for his lunch when he spends long, hard days working at the gold mine. Not only that, but they make it a point to say that Sourdough Sam cares a lot about his health and fueling up each and every day with healthy foods and 60 minutes of playing outside. So he's getting his exercise in. He's keeping that body fit. He's eating good food.
I am disappointed that you have fallen for the marketing plea of the 49ers.
Listen, they've done a great job. Now, he works hard during the season, too, getting the fans pumped up. But during the offseason, the 49ers also make a point to show you that he goes to these kids' camps and spends time with little 49ers fans. He's a family man. He loves to give back to his community. He loves to work hard. He's energetic, funny. He's kind, and he represents his fan base with pride. Sourdough Sam is the kind of guy that you could lend a power tool to, and he'll bring it back as soon as he's done.
Oh, that's a trustworthy man.
He'll keep an eye out for you. He'll protect you. He is the type of person that you want to have in your life to love and cherish you now and forever. That is true sexiness.
All right. Enough of this propaganda.
Well, I have one more question for Josh. You said he enjoys making sourdough bread. Is he one that give out sourdough starter kits to friends?
You know, that's a great question. And he seems like the kind of guy who has really cultivated a special sourdough starter and a sourdough base that he has had going for years and years.
So my current wife has one right now, and she is working on it, hoping to get it to where she can make some bread. I'm hoping that eventually it gets there and I can just eat it. And right now it's just taking up space in my fridge.
And you know what? That's a great point, Joe, because sourdough bread has a great place in my heart. My grandparents have had a sourdough starter that they've used for years and years and years. And they make loaves on loaves on loaves every weekend and give it to their family. So I love sourdough bread for that reason.
But
Secondly,
I'm not here about your grandparents. So
you were talking about the amount of time that Rachel, your current wife, is spending on the sourdough starter. And it takes patience. Sourdough Sam is a patient guy. He has cultivated this sourdough starter for years and years and years.
Yeah, I'm not here.
I think
this is sexy. Patience is not sexy.
I was going to say, I think I need to rebut. I think I need to rebut a little bit because I think Josh has lost the thread.
Yeah, I think Josh is just reaching.
Sexy is not something you are patient with. Sexy is not something that you put time into.
Ooh, baby, do you like the sourdough set I've been working on for 2.5 years?
Exactly.
Yeah.
As the famous Office episode states, hot and sexy is a gut reaction. So this is not something that you're not building a relationship with this guy. This is damn, that's sexy. That's it.
Well, don't you want to think that your partner is sexy? I would like
Josh,
to get.
I asked you.
Hold on.
Absolutely.
I would like to get you both on the record saying this so that I can put this out publicly. Do you find someone you are in a relationship with to be sexy?
Yes, my current wife is
I'm
very
not saying
sexy.
that is incorrect.
It seems like I've struck a nerve here.
No, I am not saying that is incorrect. My wife is the sexiest person on the planet.
Except for Miles.
But that is not.
That's what you said. Sexiest mascot.
But that is not what we're talking. We're talking about. This is the gut reaction.
I think
this
what
is not.
No.
This is not building.
I think sexy is in the eye of the beholder.
Boys. Order. I think what it comes down to is I asked you a question and you gave me a 35-minute spiel about why he'd be good to date. So I'm going to have to disregard all that said. Jury, please disregard everything you heard.
No.
Yep, that's it. So let's, at this time, I'm going to go to my quarters, my judge's quarters, and we're going to head to the office. If you would both join me so we can discuss how terrible that last argument was.
Fine.
And let's go. Have an old laptop or cell phone that you want to get rid of and upgrade to something better? Device Pit Stop is here to help. Device Pit Stop will buy your gently used items and give you cash or credit today that you can put towards a new item. Like the computer I'm using right now. Yes, that's right. I finally broke down, got a new computer. It's amazing. I got a Mac Mini. I'm a big fan of Apple. It's got crazy stats, 16 gig of RAM, a solid state drive. Very, very happy. Device Pit Stop knocked it out of the park. It's more than I ever could have asked for. Super quick. It opens everything I need immediately, and I don't have to wait for 13 to 14 minutes to open up Zoom, which makes me very happy and gets the guys off my back. Because you know what? Sometimes, new computers aren't always the biggest priority. I got a 2-year-old. She don't use computers. All she cares about is her tablet. Well, you can't record a podcast on a tablet. But if you do need a tablet, Device Pit Stop has those as well. They are able to offer up any and all up-to-date electronics you may need and are happy to take off those old ones you don't want anymore and give you credit to buy something new. They can also fully service and repair existing devices as well. They have fixed multiple cell phones of mine and they look absolutely perfect when they leave. Check them out. Device Pit Stop, www.devicepitstopky.com. And for the month of September, they're going to give you 10% off your current order using the promo code TMIW. That's TMIW for 10% off, www.devicepitstopky.com.
First off, I have to agree with everything Joe just said because, like I said at the top of the show, Joe's computer sucked, and now it doesn't. So Device Pit Stop has helped him out immensely and helped my sanity each and every week as we try to get this podcast going. We also want to take a moment to thank everybody who's been listening to the show and sharing it on social media. It's helped us out a ton, and we're seeing a lot of progress in downloads and getting more people on board. So feel free to continue sharing the show. Look us up on social media at TMIWPod, or use the hashtag TMIWPod. Invite your friends to listen. Tag us so that we can see it, and let them know that you're enjoying the podcast. It helps us out a ton. We really appreciate it, and we hope that you all continue to do that because it helps us out more than we could ever let you know. With that, I think it's time that we head back and finish this debate about sexy mascots and continue to weird you all out a little bit for just a little bit longer. So let's head back in the main office and get this debate underway.
Okay. I think I've decided what it's going to take to figure this argument out because you've both, Ryan's debated on 2 different people so far, and Josh, I don't know what Josh has talked about this entire episode. It's been a lot, and none of it is really about being sexy.
True love.
So, well, that's not what the question is. It goes back to Gordon Ramsay. You have to debate the question. So, I think what I need you to do is I need you to write a dating profile for your mascot. I need you to say what you would need to say so when a man, a woman, a horse, whoever it may be, is out there on Tinder, Bumble, Plenty of Fish, what's some of the other ones?
Hinge,
Match.com.
There you go. You've been out of the dating scene for a while. It is okay.
Yeah, it's been a while. My current wife and I have been together for a while. So whatever you would need to swipe right on somebody, I need you to write a dating profile for that. That would make me want to swipe right because I go, dang, that person's sexy. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and have Josh go first because he's rambled aimlessly throughout this podcast. And hopefully it'll be shorter because of that. Because he knows Ryan has to go after him. So,
okay. First off, it's not going to be shorter because I have to make this point before we get going. I think this entire debate has come down to a fundamental difference in the way that we view sexiness. To some of us, sexiness is in the heart of the person, and to some of us, it's all visual, like Ryan and horses.
I want to reference a previous episode where you have said, Ryan won a debate because he picked songs that pandered to the judge. So if you want to win this debate, you should probably pick something that I would think is sexy. And as much as I love a patient human being, I don't think patience is the top of my list of what makes someone sexy.
Well, I think you're wrong there, Joe. So anyways, when it comes to Sourdough Sam's Tinder profile, it would look something like this. You're scrolling through your phone. You're swiping left on all the losers that are on there. You swipe left on Poe. You swipe left on Billy Buffalo. Then you come across a man and it says, Sourdough Sam, 24 years old, Bay Area, mascot / gold miner. You think, oh, well, he's got a varied interest. Must be nice. On his bio, it says, I'm not here to play games. Only to sport those who do. I'm not looking to hurt you. I'm looking to be your best friend. I love exercise, love a hard day in the mines, and I love baking a delicious loaf of sourdough bread. I'm popular with parents. I'm trustworthy. I'm the type of person that you can bring home to meet your mom and know that I'm going to impress them. I use a lot of beard care products, but that doesn't mean I'm not rough and tumble when I need to be. Swipe right if you want to enjoy a nice evening with a true gentleman.
If anyone makes it to the bottom of that Tinder profile, I will be very impressed.
That's too long for a dating profile. Now, I will say you had some good points. If you want to know the true way to a man's heart is through his stomach, you talked about sourdough bread. I love sandwiches, so that's probably sexy to me. But then you talked a lot, and I had to think, and that's not sexy to me.
No, see, that's the problem with these with people these days.
All right, I think Josh is talking enough. I think it's time
talked
for
a lot. Yeah, Josh,
time for Thunder.
You're all
time
done.
for Thunder.
Fine.
All right, so here's the Tinder profile. First, you're going to see this sexy ass, beautiful horse with Ann Judge in her orange and blue sitting on top. And it's actually going to be from behind, and the horse is like turning around looking towards the camera. And if they don't already swipe right, then I guess I'll get to the description.
Now, you said Ann and the horse? So is this like one of those Tinder situations where it's like a couple looking for a third? Or like, what's going on here?
Listen, this is a mascot experience, as I've mentioned multiple times. Ann Judge is always there with Thunder, so she is. So
she's almost like your coach.
I think you're on the wrong app, man.
This is the Thruple app. The first line says purebred Arabian gelding.
I don't know that I want to say something about breeding in my profile, but go ahead.
The second line says 11 years old.
Not a great start.
Location, Mile High, winky face.
Okay, I'm in for that.
And then it's honestly, it's a pretty short explanation. It says, if you're looking for a stud, then swipe right. I'm reliable and I'm always there to score. That's it.
Okay, Ryan. I have a couple questions.
Shoot.
I like that you're asking questions here.
No, this is important. Did you describe the horse as being a gelding earlier?
Arabian gelding.
Are you aware of what a gelding is?
I'm
gonna look it up. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, look it up, Joe.
Oh, buddy.
I wasn't asking this.
Oh, buddy.
Is it a female?
No, it's a male. A gelding. Well, your argument is going to struggle. A gelding is a castrated animal, especially a male horse. So right now you're selling Ann.
Seems to me that someone's lying in their profile, which I think is the opposite of sexy, is going to lead to many nights of disappointment.
A male horse is often gelded to make him better behave and easier to control.
Mm-hmm. So all that,
listen,
rowdy talk.
It's all about the vibe that has been presented.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, you and your sourdough
Sweet
starter.
Mother of God.
Look,
all right.
At least he's got his male parts.
Okay, I got to try to pull this together and make a decision out of this.
Wait, I'm gonna actually counter this as well. There is not a mascot in the world that has genitalia.
Do you know this?
Mascot?
Yeah.
Yes.
How many mascots have you painted butt naked?
7.
Name them.
I have confidentiality agreements.
Okay. Well, point being, you can say that, but we don't know what's going on in there. There might be some teams that got a little weird when they're designing.
We are not disparaging the furry community, but there is not a mascot in the world that has genitalia. So if you're going to go technicality, I'm going to go technicality.
No, I'm going to email Roger Goodell right now and ask him, and we will update our audience.
Are we sure Roger Goodell has genitalia?
I'll ask him that too in my email.
Okay, I have one important question for both of you. Are you selling the mascot as a person or selling the mascot with the person that comes with it?
I have said from the beginning, the mascot experience.
Yes, I'm selling Sourdough Sam. I'm not selling Bill whatever who's inside the costume.
All right. Okay.
It's all about Sourdough Sam.
I have Ann Judge and Thunder. And then if you're looking for more, there's always Miles.
Boys. I had what I thought was a pretty easy argument over who is the sexiest mascot. You've given me two arguments. Ryan, you chose Thunder and Ann Judge, I believe was her name, and then you threw in Miles as a backup just if needed. That makes me question whether or not you think Thunder and Ann Judge is good enough to get the job done by themselves. Do they need Miles? Do I need Ann? What's her role here? Josh, you chose Sourdough Sam. You talk so much about Sourdough Sam, I really don't even remember what you said anymore. He's patient. I remember you saying that because you talked for like 14 minutes about it, but he makes bread, which I like bread. He also has a great beard. That's a plus. But is he going to come over and we're going to chill? We're going to Netflix and chill? Or is he going to want to bake bread and tell stories about past girlfriends and be patient and tenderhearted? Come on now. So, this is a tough decision. Tough decision. I mean, tough. You talked about how close we were in last week's episode. I don't know. So, when it comes down to it, I'm going with Thunder and Ann Judge.
No!
Thank you. The sexy Arabian.
Well, Thunder does nothing for me because he has nothing. But Ann Judge looks good on that horse. And I honestly think Sourdough Sam may be a sexier person. But you didn't talk about what makes people sexy at all. So you probably would have won. You just said he's got a great beard and all this. You were like, he's patient. His love is... You gave me 1 Corinthians 13.
I mean, I gotta go with Joe. I feel like you picked a really good thing, and then you went the wrong way on your debate.
No, look, I exposed you all because what I did was I built a case around someone who is both physically attractive as a mascot, which I made in the first part of the episode. Then I followed it up with the depth of their character.
I didn't ask about character.
I'm just saying,
we didn't ask who would make what mascot would make the best husband. That's a different debate.
Sexiness is more than some felt muscles in a fun night. It is a life together.
I've never used Tinder. Ryan, have you used Tinder?
Never.
I have. That's how I met Erica.
Okay, so thank you for admitting that. When you were swiping, if you looked at someone's profile and their profile was as long as the description as you gave Sourdough Sam...
You're talking to Josh.
Are you going to stick around for that long? Or are you going to go, I don't know, this seems like a lot for Tinder?
No, it doesn't. And let me tell you why, Joe. Just to firm up my case. Did you give the
entire Gucci Poochie story on your Tinder profile?
I did not. But I will say, I obviously had a long Tinder profile. But when I met Erica on there, the reason I swiped right, aside from the fact that she's very beautiful.
She is a very beautiful woman.
Is that she detailed her love for craft breweries.
Yeah, we're talking to the wrong person,
She
Joe.
talked about how she likes to shop for vinyl records, listen to podcasts, including this one. Not at the time, but now she does because she has to. And she talked about just all the things she was looking for in somebody, and I found that really endearing. And so to me, the sexiest quality that a person can have is a good heart and great values. And just
is there a character limit on Tinder profiles?
There is, but you can accomplish a lot within that character limit.
You passed it, so you didn't even get your whole profile out.
It sounds like we are going to have to bring up sexiest something in the future because this is a very hot debate.
Well, here's the problem: is I think I'm going to have to moderate because I'll lose every single one because you
will have to moderate. It sounds like me and Joe are on the same page.
I find the soul of a person to be the sexiest aspect of them instead of their physical appearance or the fact that they have hooves.
Do you have sex with the soul?
Listen, Joe, it sounds like you've been really lacking in your sexual life, and I agree.
Let me ask you this question, Josh. You see a woman walking down the street.
Mm-hmm.
And you're with someone and they go, oh, wow, she's sexy. Do you go, I'm not sure because I can't see her soul?
I mean, I need to know a lot about a person for me to find them truly sexy. There's different levels of sexiness. There's the surface level sexiness.
See, now you admit it.
Then there's
You just admitted what we've been trying to get to. Yes, there are absolutely different levels of sexiness.
Is Brie Larson sexy?
Of course, Brie
You
Larson
don't know her
is
soul.
sexy.
You don't know her as a person.
I follow her on Instagram. She seems like a delightful
yes,
human
because
being.
what people
Oh
post
my
on the
gosh.
internet is true life for 100% fact.
Look, I think this truly, the reason that I lost this week is a fundamental misunderstanding that just truly shows that I am in touch with true sexiness in this life, and you all have a lot to learn. And I just hope that you get there someday. And I'll
We
leave
were
it at
talking
that.
about mascots, Josh. We were talking
Look,
about mascots.
it doesn't matter what the subject is. Whatever
Let
you
me
think
tell
is
you why
sexy.
you lost this week, Josh. And I learned this very young when I worked at a car dealership. You can talk your way into a sale, but you can just as easily talk yourself out of a sale. And that's what you did. You were winning.
Wow. Well
you were
put.
winning. And you kept going.
That's going to do it for this week. I would like to thank everybody for listening. We appreciate the support. I want to thank Isle of 8 for the use of our theme song, Jean Jacket. Please check them out on Spotify, Apple Music, or anywhere you find great music.
And just like Josh said earlier, go ahead and give us a follow on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You can find us there at TMIWPod. Also, be sure to use that hashtag TMIWPod to tell Josh what makes people truly sexy, not their souls. And send us your debate topics or who you think is the best, sexiest mascot. It doesn't have to be anyone in the NFL. Just if you like giant red blobs, maybe you like Western Kentucky University. That'd be weird. If you like people who look like Colonel Sanders, maybe you like Eastern Kentucky University. But go ahead and let us know. Thanks for reaching out, and give us subscribe and follow, please.
You can also head over to our website at tmiwpod.com. Over there, you will find all sorts of cool stuff, including merchandise and a way to sign up for our mailing list. If you sign up for that mailing list, you will get my exclusive free PDF, The 5 Sexy Languages, so you can truly get in touch to what true love is and find the mascot love of your life. So head over there to tmiwpod.com and check that out today.
It's super long-winded. Don't be expecting to get done with that in the weekend.
The file actually has to be zipped up because it's so big.
We again want to say thank you to Device Pit Stop for making Joe a little bit better on this podcast and for their investment in this show. As always, there is one winner, but we're all losers. Later, losers.
See ya.
I'm a sexy mascot. I'm a sexy mascot. So sexy am I.